Hey friends, I had an interesting experience last week, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk about it. For any of you who don't know me, my name is Len. I co-founded a very small Laravel development agency called Artisan Build, and we have our weekly internal meetings on Fridays. And this last Friday was the last day of a client project of ours. And as we were talking about that, we started talking about all of the other stuff that we've shipped this last year. And so that kind of became like an impromptu 25, 26 retro. And I'd like to talk about a few of those things. So, the first thing we did, reskinned our website, repositioned ourselves as an agency. Pretty standard stuff. If you haven't redesigned your website 3 times every year, you're probably not doing anything. We made a platform for parents so that they can self-publish stories featuring their children that aren't just based off of cookie cutter templates, and then we illustrate it, we narrate it, and we squish everything together into a video book. We have a centralized management system for 2FA codes. So if you're a nonprofit, you don't want one single person owning 2FA for all of your different logins. So we have somewhere where we will manage your 2FA for you, and the access to that is secured and managed and auditable. We built a system that'll go into your code base and analyze technical debt, give you a report on what your technical debt looks like, give you a list of tasks to be able to pay it down, and help you plan that out. We built kind of a social networking style support net for people who might want to live abroad, people who are part of the expat community. We built a system that will compile all of the CVE announcements, of which there are many. It will look at which actually affect your team based on your tech stack, your server infrastructure, and consolidate it into a more consumable list that feels more actionable and can give you help planning how to attack some of those vulnerabilities. We migrated the pusher JavaScript package to pure PHP using the React PHP WebSocket implementation. And then we wrapped that in a package we call Resonance, which is basically a PHP port of Laravel Echo. This allows you to have a pure PHP webhook client instead of just a server, which you can use in terminal applications and other long running processes. In order to test that in CI, we built a Laravel reverb action. So instead of only being able to test against ably or something like that in CI, we're actually spinning up a container with a proper Laravel reverb server running. We built a component library and layered rendering engine that you can use within Laravel prompts that gives you a way to build these really cool modal style terminal applications with all sorts of features, lots of components. And using that, it allowed us to build Tobias, or Toby for short. This was a really interesting experiment to try to build our own version of like an open code or a Codex or Claude Code with locally hosted models that you might serve over LM Studio or Olama. But we were building this to try to be componentized. It was a really interesting learning experience. We're building an extension for PHP that gives you actual proper language bindings for the FFmpeg libraries instead of just having to deal with all of this complicated string concatenation, dispatching to the CLI, and when something blows up, you end up having to look at error logs and parse that whole thing to figure out what went wrong. With the extension, you'll be able to see what line in your code something blew up on. You're going to get proper exceptions. You're going to get proper type support. You're going to get code completion, all of these benefits. We've got other popular open source packages that we've done, like fat enums, which gives you things like state machines, bitmask collections, a few other things, but my mind is blanking. It's nearly midnight, so don't hold me accountable. Another package that we have is Mirror, which is a Fluent API over top of the Reflection API. So it's just a little bit easier to work with in a way that's a little bit cleaner, where you're not having to juggle all these different types and everything. So it just makes things a little bit easier to read through. And all of these things were done while still shipping client work. And like we've got other things too that are still in progress, a few things that shipped but we didn't end up really publicizing because the community had moved past it and it had become redundant. So looking at this huge list of things that we've shipped in the last year just kind of left me with this big sense of pride. Like the speed at which we're able to work in this ecosystem with all of our tooling is really impressive. And so that's what I wanted to talk about. And then as well, like we rolled off that one client work, so that means we have some availability coming up. If you've got some hard problems you want to work together to solve, we would love to collaborate. You can reach out. We'd love to talk. If you don't have anything you want to collaborate on, we'd still love your help. You can help out by amplifying this video. So you can like, you can comment, you can share, you can repost. If we've worked together in the past, I'd love it if you talked about the things that we've done together as you help us amplify this. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to show you what we've been working on and just let you all know that we have some availability coming up now. Cheers.